We were pretty famous back in high school. Trust us.
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast.
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous. We're both in the same place, so it's same place. Time. I did it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it was a fucking missed opportunity.
We do it next time? Or is it going to be too long? Do we try to...
No, I didn't warn you.
No, do we try to do that next time? Or do we just...
I mean, we
late?
have a full 2 weeks to prepare for it now.
Right, I know, but it would have been so timely.
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess now, if we do it now, it'll be like, oh, he was talking about it, so let's do it next time. Instead of us already having come up with the idea before he told us that he'd been listening to all that stuff.
That was so perfect that he said that.
Yeah.
Why is he listening to that in the first place?
Yeah. Because, I mean...
Was he?
There's being nostalgic.
Yeah.
Then there's being like there's torturing yourself with torturing yourself with nostalgia.
Maybe
like
it's
bad nostalgia.
Maybe it's because he was never like a cutter. So this is way. This is his way.
I've never self-harmed myself.
This is his way of feeling.
I want to do it mentally.
This is his way of feeling pain.
I'm not okay with I'm not okay with physical self-harm, but mental self-harm.
Mental self-harm. I'm totally down. Totally down. I'm a DTSH.
Down to self-harm.
Yeah.
Hey girl, you down to self-harm?
Hey girl, you DTSH?
Ooh.
You DTM?
That's what I like to hear.
DTMSH?
Don't tell me you're in therapy. You better not be.
You're not for me.
No.
You're not my type.
I like my girls broken.
The daddy issues.
Yeah. Daddy issues, mommy issues, sibling issues, all the issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corn issues.
Monthly issues.
Like they subscribe to magazines?
Yeah. Not like menstrual.
Oh, is that the latest Cosmopolitan?
Oh, yeah, I got monthly issues.
Nice. What are your monthly issues? People.
Bloodletting.
What? Is that a magazine?
Yeah, Bloodletting magazine.
Bloodletting magazine?
Yeah. Yeah.
It must be very underground.
It's all about medieval medical procedures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly bloodletting.
Did that end in the Middle Ages?
I don't know.
Or was that? I could see that being a...
I'm like, like...
I'm going to tell you, I could see that being like an 1800s practice.
Yeah.
In the 19th century.
That's how that works, which I hate, but yeah.
Well, because the years 0 to 99 are the first... I mean,
there is no year 0. There's no such thing as year 0.
The years 1 to 100 are the first century.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then 200 is the second century, then 300 is the third century.
No.
So they should be on...
You end the second century on 200. So the year 199 is in the second century. You don't start the second century on the year 200.
Yeah, okay.
Because otherwise we would have started at the year 100 for the first century to be 100 through 199.
True.
So does that mean a century is 100 years or 99 years?
Well, the first one was...
The first one was 99 years.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
So is it really a
century? So
century?
we're always a year behind, yeah.
Is it really? Was that really a century?
Right. Well, I mean, you count... I was going to say, you count 0 to 1 as 1, but yeah, no, you don't. Because there's no 0. All right. Hello
and welcome to
High School Famous.
Yep.
I love that whole, like, nobody knows what the hell we were talking about with the whole should we do it later thing.
We can leave it the way it is, or we can...
if you want to know, you're going to have to actually ask us.
For once. If you want to,
people are going to have to reach out to us to find out.
No, let's take it further.
Oh.
Let's make it even less likely.
Okay.
If you want to know what that was about, you have to join our Patreon.
Instantly, no one cares.
And we will tell you. Without even anyone joining, we're going to release a special episode that explains what the beginning of this podcast was about. But if a podcast is recorded in the woods and no one pays to hear it.
Right. Did it fall?
Did it make a sound?
If a podcast is done in the woods and no one is there to hear it, is there a woods?
Is there a woods? I mean, yeah. It doesn't matter if there's, yeah. We know there's woods.
Yeah, there's Tiger Woods. James Woods.
Woody Allen. Woodsy Allen?
No.
Are those the two famous Woods? Tiger Woods and James Woods?
James Woods.
Is that
it? There might be more. Ed Woods.
Well, he was a real person.
Yeah, but it was just a wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker? Forrest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't say Forrest Gump because that's a fictional character.
Right.
But Forrest Whitaker is real. There is someone I work with. Well, I don't work with him, but he works for the same company. His name is Forrest.
Oh.
And his last name has the word wood in it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But I don't want to reveal the rest of it. Just not say his full name. But so, wow. He's all about, he better be all about nature.
Right. His middle name is River.
That's not true. And I don't know that.
Middle name is
Brook.
A different word. Forest, meadow.
Did you say a different word for forest or a different word than forest?
I was thinking of a different word for forest. I know meadow is not
meadow is
an
not
example, but
meadow is not a simile for forest.
No.
Eventually, when the bulldozers come through, that forest will become a meadow, perhaps.
Or an apartment building.
One apartment building covering an entire forest.
Well, it could. Well, yeah. A small forest. What's the difference between a forest and the woods then?
I think it's
based on
culture.
Acreage.
Huh?
Is it based on acreage?
I don't know. I think woods and forests are the same.
They're synonymous.
I think they are.
There's got to be a thing because there's got to be there's like a difference between what makes something a pond versus what makes something a lake.
Acreage.
So that's what I said about woods.
But I don't who thinks of ponds and lakes in terms of acres? Probably nobody.
The people who have to classify what makes a pond or a lake.
They probably think of volume, like liters.
No, because they don't. It's not judged based on the depth. It's on how much land it takes up.
Well, the volume,
so acreage.
The volume isn't only concerned with depth. It's all the dimensions of the lake or pond.
Yeah, but you can't. You're not going to determine that based on. I don't know.
What if they say pond maximum volume for a pond is X number of liters, and then beyond that you're at lake territory?
I'm fairly certain.
Okay, so let's say you have an area that's 1 foot deep, but it's huge and it's full of water. Is that a lake?
I believe that would still be a lake.
Even if it's only 1 foot deep the whole way across?
I think it would still be considered a lake.
That would be...
Because there's a lot of parts of Lake of the Woods that are not deep, and that whole area is just lakes.
What I call a whole area that's 1 foot deep that's full of water, I call that a flood.
Only if it's temporary. But no, I'm pretty sure like lakes are measured by acreage.
So
because I believe we talked about this at one point. We might have had a conversation about this where maybe not on the podcast.
I'm shaking my head, everyone.
Well, okay. I talked about it to somebody, but
yeah,
we'll figure it out. There was debate over whether Minnesota or Wisconsin had more lakes.
This was not me. This was someone else.
But the way that Minnesota, how Minnesota determines what size is something that's considered a lake is different than what Wisconsin does. So Wisconsin counts things like, say,
by cheese.
No, say anything over 10 acres large is a lake. And Minnesota says, well, anything over 15 acres large is a lake. So Minnesota counts far less than what Wisconsin considers lakes. So
they got the federal government involved.
I don't know what's really going on, but so I had looked up the stats at one point a while ago, and I don't really recall what they are. But Minnesota, based on Minnesota standards, has like 11,000 something lakes. I know it says they're the land of 10,000 lakes, but it's like 11,000 something lakes, I think.
10,000.
And according to Wisconsin standards of what's a lake, they have like 13,000 lakes. So they're like, oh, well, we have more lakes.
But then according to Wisconsin standards, wouldn't we have more lakes than
So
11,000?
yes. So if Minnesota used Wisconsin standards of what constitutes a lake based on acreage, Minnesota would have like 18,000 lakes or some shit. Those aren't the exact right stats by any means. I don't really remember what they were, but one way or either way, if one of the states swapped to the other state's standard, Minnesota
which still comes out
destroys.
on top. Yeah,
like insanely destroys. I think it was honestly over 20,000 lakes that Minnesota would have based on the Wisconsin standard. But it's just a dumb way for Wisconsin to be like, we actually have more lakes. It's like, you have more meth too. So
it's like, sorry, I know that you want.
Sorry, anybody in Wisconsin that listens to this.
I know you want to be better than Minnesota in some way, but you can't just fudge the numbers.
No.
I mean, you might have.
I mean, what does Wisconsin have over Minnesota?
I mean, you can buy fireworks there.
Yeah. They got a lot of good cheese.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when Brett Favre was still playing football, they had the Packers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they still have the Packers.
Right, but
the the Packers, the team didn't go with Favre.
No, but who?
When he retired, the whole team left.
Because the team would have played for Minnesota for a year.
True.
But I mean, I don't follow football, but I don't.
But I think that's how it works.
But I don't. I think the whole team has to go.
Yeah, the whole team. When one person retires, the whole team quits, right?
Yeah, but I think that the Packers are not any formidable. They're not a formidable foe anymore.
Yeah,
I said that strangely.
You said a lot.
I had trouble with that one. Formidable foe.
Well, I couldn't say amoeba.
Well, that's just because you were just forgetting the word.
I said anema, which isn't anema isn't even a word.
It's anema.
Anemic is.
It could be anemic, but that's when you have anemia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, anema.
I don't think anema is a word
No.
unless you're mispronouncing anima
or anima.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are both words.
Well, I think anima is not a real word.
No, I believe anima is a real word.
Really? I thought it was just. I thought they were sort of trying to cleverly combine more than one word.
No, I think anima is a real thing. We can Google it later if you want.
Wisconsin does not consider anima a word.
Oh, see, that's another problem.
Yeah,
Wisconsin's the worst.
We have downloads in Wisconsin.
I know. They know I'm joking.
All right.
Yeah. Add
facial
in
gesture.
Wink sound effect.
You gave it away. I was ambiguous.
I'm just going to start wink sound
effect.
effect.
I was ambiguous by saying facial gesture.
Well, wink sound effect isn't a thing.
Well, usually you could do the ding. Like sometimes it accompanies a wink.
Well, that accompanies somebody doing a smile and their tooth going bling.
Or a wink with their tooth going bling.
Yeah, I was like, who's ever done a wink and it made a bling sound?
We could be the first. Let's try it.
Wink sound effect.
It
didn't work.
What's the sound of one hand?
I mean,
clapping?
you have the account on that sound effects website.
I'll look
Let's
up
wink sound effects.
Yeah, I'll go to my library of sound effects and see if I can find a wink.
Oh, can we make sound effects and add them to that site?
I don't know.
Because we should make just us saying things as sound effects.
Yeah, wink,
wink sound effect,
splash,
sound effect. Yeah, we'll say sound effect.
We have to add
everything.
Okay,
explosion sound effect.
Wow, no one would download the. Well, they might get
somebody
downloaded
as a
by
joke.
accident.
Maybe they'd listen to them and they'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, that's kind of funny. And then they would be like, let's check out their page. And they're all that, and they're just like, all right, well, this is dumb.
After listening to 3 examples, I'm ready to stop.
But then, like, further down the page, we have really, really good sound effects.
Yeah. The 5th on.
Yeah,
like Anyone who dares to venture to the 4th one still is like, okay, I'm done now. I get the joke, you guys. I need some real sound effects here. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to make a living.
Yeah, by taking other people's sound effects.
So we do.
Well, we pay for it.
We pay for it. But then, after that, it's like we will somehow produce our own exceptional sound effects.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any explosions that we can use? Or winks?
Most of my explosions are non-audible.
This would be weird because
they're internal.
So if we could make a sound effect called 40 winks, but it's just like someone snoring.
Oh.
I'm nodding.
Okay. Nodding sound effect. What's wrong with your neck?
Oil can.
Yeah, I think we're onto something here with the sound effects thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna accomplish that.
Do it.
Yeah. We're gonna follow through on this one.
It took us 2 hours to write the jingle.
The sound effect jingle.
No, our song.
Oh wait, we still have to write the sound effect jingle?
Oh,
We're
Christ.
screwed.
Yeah.
We better get up early tomorrow.
We are making sound effects because we're sound effects.
All right, that's a rough draft. We need to work on it.
So yeah.
So
Yep.
that's the thing.
Yeah. That's the cat trying to get in.
We were supposed to have a game session tonight, but the main guy fell asleep. So we ended up still having a game session.
Well, yeah, we
just
still not at the one we were expecting.
We chatted for a while, but then we played this game that I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I hadn't heard of it before, but it's called Everyone is John.
Yeah.
And so everyone starts off with these 10 persuasion. What are they called? Willpower.
10 willpower points.
10 willpower points.
Yep.
And you have to come up with a name. So each person playing is a voice inside John's head.
Mm-hmm.
John is a moron, idiot, and he can't do anything on his own. So he has to do what the voices inside of his head tell him to do.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone who's playing has to come up with a name for the character or voice that they will play inside John's head.
Yep.
They come up with either 2 or 3 skills that
something you're good at.
Yeah, and if you use 2 skills, you have your full 10 willpower points, but if you choose to have 3 skills, then you will have only 7 willpower points.
Yeah.
And then you have to come up with 3 obsessions that your character will have John try to achieve.
Yep. Of varying degrees of difficulty. So a really easy one, a sort of medium to hard to achieve obsession, and then a really out of this world, nearly impossible obsession to achieve. So then you want your skill. You basically want to try to choose skills that are going to kind of help guide you towards achieving your obsessions.
Right. And so in each turn, the person running the game will put you in a scenario. Like the one that was given to us was we have a Lamborghini that's sort of wrapped around a telephone pole or a light pole or whatever he said.
On the Vegas Strip.
And there's a ton of cash in the glove compartment, and in the car or in the trunk you hear some kind of noise.
Like a growling
noise from the trunk of your car. And there's a bunch of people walking around outside because you're on the Vegas Strip. So then it's like, what do you do? And then
I just realized something.
What?
We should have called him out on that whole growling from the trunk of the car thing, because a Lamborghini's trunk is in the front of the car, which is wrapped around a telephone pole.
Well, if you saw...
I think he kind of said it was in the back seat, but again, a Lambo doesn't even have a back seat.
What do you call wrapped around? Because when I think of wrapped around, I think of you like
sideswiping it more so?
I always
just think like head on into a pole, which I'm assuming is what he meant by it. But I guess, it's all interpretation. Either way, it doesn't really matter.
So... how you start then is you have to basically put up the number of willpower points you're willing to bid to try to gain control of John, so that you are able to tell John what to do.
And then you lose those points.
Yeah. So
you've used them, they're done.
Yeah. If you bid 3 points, you win. You're out those 3 points, and you only have 7 left. And then, so whoever wins control of John gets to tell John what to do to try to achieve that particular person's obsessions.
Yep.
And then if nothing really exciting happens for about a few minutes, then the person running the game has to roll a dice to see if John falls asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then if John falls asleep, everybody rebids for control again.
Yep. And you gain a point back. If he falls asleep back, everybody gets a point back.
Yeah. Every time he falls asleep, because of nothing happening, everyone gains a willpower point back. And the ultimate goal is to be the one that achieves the most amount of obsessions to get points for that, and then get John to die so that no one else...
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't have to make John die, but
John has to die to end
the game, and once John's dead, whoever's achieve the most obsession points wins the game.
And you get more points the harder the obsession
Yeah.
to achieve. So if you achieve your third obsession multiple times, then you get more points for that. I forget how it worked out.
Yeah, it's multiplied. So if you did the third one 3 times, you get 9 points.
So I'm gonna try to engage the listeners on this one to
You're
see
gonna try to win them over to
see if
your
they
side
agree.
to see if you weren't a shisty little motherfucker.
Right. So my first of all, any old school Simpsons fans would hopefully appreciate the name I chose for my voice in John's head, which was Bort, B-O-R-T. And then my 2 skills were painting and combat.
Which did not come in handy for you at all.
The painting didn't, but the combat did.
But he didn't make you roll for the combat.
Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I tried to punch,
Okay.
I had to roll for that. And my 3 obsessions were have the first word, have the last word, and have every single word. So when the one time I had control of John, I was running up to individuals, yelling surprise, and then punching them in the face to knock them out cold. The first time I did it to a single person. The second time I went to an elderly couple and knocked their heads together to knock them out. Now, I would argue that in that verbal exchange or conversation, I had the first word, the last word, and every single word of that conversation.
Right.
So I would say that in both of those examples, I had achieved all 3 of my obsessions. The runner of the game, our friend Eric, who was on the Alien Sprinkles episode, did not give me all of those points.
No, he gave you the first word and last word on the first encounter, and then he just gave you the first word on the second encounter. So because let's be honest, I applaud your effort at what you're trying to do, but at the same time, your obsessions, there was no tier of difficulty to your obsessions.
Obviously, the easiest is to have the first word. Having the last word is more difficult, but not much more.
No, I'd say it's just as easy.
Not much more.
To be the last person to say something.
Not much more.
You're trying to do it now, and I'm not allowing you to.
No, you keep talking.
I know, because I want to have the last word.
Which makes it harder.
But if you're not us two deliberately being assholes trying to get the last word with each other, and you're just having a normal conversation with somebody, you can say goodbye, and if they say goodbye, then you'd be like, have a good day or something. You can say something to still. It's easier to achieve when they don't know you're trying to do it.
Sure. So,
but having all the words,
but the way
you did it is
the way
also
my
difficult.
third obsession was worded. Have every single word. That's pretty vague and sounds difficult. So anyway, once I found out I wasn't getting awarded all the points for every one of those,
you had to rethink your strategy.
I was going to try to go into a bookstore and buy a dictionary.
Yeah.
But I figured it's by this point in this scenario, it's late at night. There are not going to be any open bookstores. But then they said, well, it's Vegas. I'm like, yeah, but are people in Vegas flocking to bookstores at 10:30 at night?
You never know.
I mean,
you never asked.
I didn't ask.
Yeah.
But also...
And you also never regained control of John.
I never regained control because I was waiting to get out of... I was waiting till morning, which never came for John, unfortunately.
Yeah. But you could have... See, what would have been good for you, though, is still take control of John and try to just gain some other additional points doing your other 2 and then figuring out, can I get to a bookstore or do anything?
Yeah, but I wasn't trying very hard, and I hadn't thought of any other ways to achieve the other 2.
Yeah.
So I just would have kept punching people, and that probably would have gotten me in trouble somewhere.
Right. Which would have just taken the story in a different direction. Right.
So...
Well, if we want to talk about my character at all...
Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to? You can.
Yeah, so my character's name was Stabby Tom.
That's why they called you Stabby Tom?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's why Eric said Stabby Tom.
I thought Eric just made that up.
No. So my skills were public speaking and bartending, and my obsessions were talking to myself, touching strangers, and mass suicide.
Yeah.
I achieved all 3 of them by the end of the game.
Yeah, which is why I was never able to achieve buying a dictionary
Because I killed
to get my
everyone and myself.
Yeah.
And John.
Yeah.
Because I instantly started talking to myself. So I'm like, well, that was easy. And then I tried touching people, but I was covered in blood. So they kept running away from me.
Eric made it very easy for you to achieve convincing a family of 3 to drink something to kill them. Did they know they were killing them?
I rolled for that.
Oh, no. Hold on.
I rolled for that.
Hold on a second.
They didn't have to know that they were going to be killing themselves. They had to willingly drink it themselves.
But is that considered suicide?
If a person walks into that room and sees 4 dead people laying on the ground and they all have just drank something, what are they going to rule it as?
But it doesn't matter what the other person rules it as.
But the death will be ruled a suicide, therefore it was a suicide. They willingly drank what I gave them.
Not knowing that it was going to kill them. So I say...
Knowing it was going to do something to them. It was going to show them the light, is what I told them.
I would say that suicide, you have to go in with the intent that you are going to end your own life.
How do you classify an accidental suicide?
I've never heard of this term.
There's such thing as an accidental suicide. If you accidentally overdose on something, it's an accidental suicide.
I would just call that accidental death.
It's an accidental suicide because you knowingly took a substance that could kill you,
right?
But you did not intend for it to kill you. It's an accidental suicide.
But they were not taking in a substance that they know could kill them.
I know. I'm just saying, how do you, if you, using your definition of what suicide was, how do you explain an accidental suicide, is what I'm saying.
I would not have the term accidental suicide exist.
But it does, so you can't, you can't not have it exist. And if you would have bought the dictionary that you should have went and bought during the game.
I wasn't going to read the dictionary.
No?
I was just going to buy it.
But you could have looked it up. So you would have known.
Apparently not, because you were going to drink your own concoction shortly after, before I had time to read it.
Yeah, I think a lot of things. I mean, it was the first time we ever played it, so I think we all kind of did things that we probably wouldn't normally get away with. So yeah, I think. I mean, you very cleverly tried to be shady, which was great. And then I guess the way I ended up getting that all to happen at the end was, first off, very lucky, and second off, maybe a little not quite how it should have went. But
here's another detail for the game: if you try to do something that is slightly difficult, you have you
have to roll for it.
It falls in line with one of your skills. You have to roll above a 3.
Yep.
Or is it a 3 and up?
If you have the skill, it's a 3 and up.
If you have the skill. You have, like one of my skills was combat. So punching someone in the face to knock them out, that counted toward the skill. So if I rolled a 3 or higher, 3 to 6, then I would accomplish that. But if it's not, you have to roll a 6 to achieve what you're trying to do if it's not one of your skills.
And if you don't roll a 6 and you still want to do it, you have to use your willpower points to get it to a 6 to make it happen.
Well, then how come that time that you failed the roll, John fell asleep?
Because he...
you were out of points?
Well, that was because that was before we reread the rule and changed how we were playing it. Because that was my first one where I failed, and then we reread the rules and realized we did it wrong.
Gotcha.
So for me to get everybody to persuade everybody to actually drink my poisonous concoction that I rolled to make because I was a bartender.
But there was nothing in that bathroom that would have been behind a bar.
No, but I still know how to I know how to concoct a drink. That was the point of it. I knew how to put something together like that. Because that's how I got away with it. That was my reasoning behind it, and Eric allowed it.
Well, I know, but hold on. So I would say that you don't need to have any particular skill to be able to go into a bathroom, pull out any cleaners that might be under the sink, and pour them into glasses. And that's not you didn't concoct anything. You just poured
but I made it
chemicals into glasses.
I made it unsuspicious so they wouldn't be like, "What are we drinking?"
Well, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like this
game was flawed.
I know. But It sounds like this. Let's.
Sounds like these people would have done anything I asked them.
Right. So let's.
I mean, they let me. I convinced them to follow me within seconds and allow me to come back with them to their hotel room.
Right. So you didn't have to
So
worry
I could
about
kill them.
being inconspicuous or not.
Yeah, I kind of just got away with it.
You went into the bathroom and came out of the bathroom with drinks.
Yep.
So they.
Yeah. None of this should have worked.
You should. Plus, you shouldn't have had to roll a 6 to get any of this done.
At that point, yeah.
You could have rolled a 1 and they would have still done it.
So yeah, since I didn't have a skill of persuasion, I had to, and I didn't have any willpower points left at this point because I spent my last 3 to win the control of John again. So I had to convince these people to drink the drink. So I had to roll a 6, and I rolled a 6. So everybody drank, and I ended the game.
Just in case anyone may have gotten upset with me for in this imaginary world punching random people in the face. Right. Matt killed a family, including one child.
Yeah,
just so he could get some points,
so I could win the game. In
an imaginary game.
It's it doesn't matter.
You killed.
We played D&D.
2 adults and a child to get imaginary points.
Yeah, and I won.
You're a monster.
I won the game. I will do anything to win.
You are a monster.
I will do anything to win an imaginary game.
A monster.
So yeah, either way, yeah,
so we're in the same place.
We were supposed to. We were supposed to play D&D tonight, and our DM fell asleep apparently.
Did you?
We were waiting for him for 2 hours.
My question is, did you already forget the part where I already explained this at the beginning?
No. Well, okay. So you didn't say what we were gonna do. So
what?
You didn't say what we were playing.
I said we were gonna have a gaming session.
Yeah. What we were playing.
That part's irrelevant.
I was going somewhere with this, and you completely just derailed me now, and I have no idea what I was about to say.
Okay, you said we were gonna play D&D, but the DM fell asleep, and so we didn't. Go ahead.
I literally have no idea what I was about to say anymore because you derailed me.
Wow. You're as easy as that family you murdered.
It's also almost 1 a.m.
It's 12:35.
It's closer to 1 than it is to 12.
That's true.
So I can technically say it's almost 1.
I mean, yeah.
People don't want to hear us argue, Sean.
I know. What do you consider a lake?
What do I consider a lake? I don't know. What's the volume?
I don't know, but does that matter anymore? I guess that doesn't matter.
By volume, I mean, how loud is it?
Well, it depends on if it's early morning, there's lots of toads.
Or say it might depend on how hot it is and if the fish are screaming.
The fish don't scream. Fish don't scream.
Have you ever heard a fish scream?
No. That's why that's why I say fish don't scream.
Well, yeah, that doesn't prove that they don't scream. You just never heard one scream. Just because you haven't heard something do something doesn't mean it's incapable of doing it.
Here's a thing.
Okay, let's go with this.
Okay. You hear about mammals in the ocean making noise.
Okay.
Dolphins and whales, correct?
And others.
You don't hear about fish making noise, do you?
Don't normally, no.
Isn't that interesting?
Why?
It's just the mammals that make the noise and have calls.
Yeah.
I've never thought of that before. Sharks just swim. Octopi just propel.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I've never really thought about that, but I guess it kind of makes, it's interesting.
That's,
which is weird because, like, mammals aren't the only things that make noise in the world. So it's...
Right.
But as far as, the ocean...
there's no underwater birds.
I mean... It's interesting. So I was about to say, I'm like, well, does something under the ocean need to be able to make noise? But it's like whales make a lot of noise. They are so loud and noisy all the time. I complain.
So here's another part of the question. I mean, frog...
It's another part of the same question or a separate question?
Well, I was going to say, you could say that maybe something like a frog makes noise and it's not a mammal, but it also doesn't fully live in the water.
Especially the ocean.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of ocean frogs.
You're right. Sea turtles.
Do sea turtles make a lot of noise? Well,
I don't know, but they're not mammals either.
They can make noise. I've heard sea turtles make noise.
Do you know how they made some of the noises for the T-Rex in the original Jurassic Park?
It was a sea turtle. I've heard this.
Sea turtles mating.
Oh.
So they definitely make noise then.
Right.
Or maybe it wasn't sea turtles. Maybe it was like snapping turtles. But it was tortoises.
Turtles of some type.
Some sort of turtle.
Well, then that's a land creature.
That's true. Yeah. Why would you try to record sea turtles doing that?
Yeah, it seems like a way harder effort. Like, all right, well, fuck, we gotta go out to the ocean, and then we gotta find sea turtles, and the ocean is like the biggest thing. So
I mean, it is
gonna be way harder.
Picture.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
That's how they filmed Amistad.
You could, and Waterworld. You could.
That's Spielberg too?
No, I don't know. Is it?
No, I don't think so.
You could.
Fucking hope not.
Yeah, I don't think it's Spielberg.
Yeah.
But you could just know where the eggs are and wait for the sea turtle eggs to hatch.
Yeah, and then wait for them to grow up to start mating.
You tag them so that you can track them. This is a Spielberg picture we're talking about here.
Like, so you're okay. So first off, are you taking all of them, or are you picking a few?
A couple.
Okay,
but
so you're taking a couple.
You make sure those make it into the ocean.
Okay, so yeah, they make it into the ocean. Cool. And then are you just waiting?
Yeah, you have to wait till they're
okay.
Mating
So
age.
you've tagged a couple.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You've made sure those ones made it to the ocean.
Yeah.
But then you're just waiting.
Yeah.
So you're not even guaranteeing that they're going to survive to the point where they can mate.
You tag enough so that the odds are in your favor, and this is done in pre-pro. So there's plenty of time before you have to start doing post.
Right.
So the turtles are grown and mating.
How long is it before a sea turtle goes from birth to it's aged to the point where it will reproduce and mate?
I would imagine a year tops.
A year tops.
Animals,
animals mature.
They do.
So
they grow and develop
at an exponential
way
rate.
faster than humans do. Just think, almost any animal is walking right out of the gate. Being born, they can just walk.
I don't like that you call vaginas gates.
Right out of the gate.
I'm not okay with that.
Well, I mean, if it's something you can close off so that I can't get in, it's a gate.
What happened to you as a child or a young adult?
I came out walking. I don't know.
I kicked that gate open, came out foot first.
I mean, I did break the water. I did kick through that.
Yeah, you're supposed to be younger than me.
I am supposed to be younger than you.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be a December baby, which means I'm supposed to have a birthday closer to Christmas, which would suck.
I'm supposed to be an early October baby.
Oh, you were late.
I was, I think, a couple weeks late to somewhere between a couple weeks to a month, I thought.
Okay.
Late, maybe.
So, wow, there would have been
significantly late. I came out like my, as far as I remember being told, I came out and my skin was peeling because I was overcooked, as it were.
That happens?
I had trouble getting out of the gate.
Oh.
It's like a horse race. You you came out before the buzzer. And I
almost didn't come out.
Yeah, I almost did. I came out just.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's a lot like how our personality is.
Considering how you are now, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Burn.
So yeah, we were supposed to be drastically. It would have been nice to be older than someone that we hang out with.
You are.
Who? Or I mean younger. I mean younger.
Yeah, you're one of the older ones of us all.
I mean, okay, so look at the
people
we regularly talk to. I'm the oldest.
Yeah. Well, then at that rate,
you would have been
possibly because Eric is
older.
Eric is between us. So for people listening, Sean is September 26th. I'm October 26th, and our friend Eric is October 7th. And then our friend Mark is November 7th.
Yes.
So it's kind of weird how that all worked out. But
yes.
So there's potential where if I would have been born on time, I could have been just before or just after Eric. So Eric would possibly be the oldest, or I would possibly be the oldest, but then you would be...
I would have been younger than Mark.
Yeah, you'd have been younger than...
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd still been older than Mikey.
I still would have been older than Mike. And
everybody would
Josh.
Still be older than Josh, and obviously Travis, because he was a grade under us.
Yeah. I mean, the only people that it would have changed.
We only have high school friends.
The only people that would have changed for would have been Eric and Mark and you.
Yeah.
For me.
Right.
You would have just been maybe older than me, but maybe older than Eric too.
Yeah.
Other than that,
more than likely us through Eric, me, and Mark would have most likely stayed in the same order.
What I'm trying to say is me being born 8 weeks early affected me the most.
Oh, I'm sure it affected your mom quite a bit as well.
Well, she got to be pregnant less.
Right. And, is that good or bad for her?
No. Well, I did have to stay in the hospital for those 2 months in an incubator.
Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter for you, but for them at that point. I mean, it's not like you're going like, I remember when I was in the incubator.
You know what's great? That was a better bedroom than I had in my parents' house.
My baby iron lung was better than...
It's like, can I go back to the hospital?
Yeah, I had a better bed.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what? That's crazy. Neither one of us had like proper bedrooms growing up.
I mean, I started off in a bedroom, just sharing a bedroom with my brother. But then obviously I get to a certain age.
The upstairs bedroom? You guys shared the upstairs bedroom for a while? Oh, you guys shared the one that he ended up having?
And still has. Yes. We were sharing that bedroom in the basement.
I was going to leave that detail out, but yeah, okay.
The bedroom he still occupies.
So who had the bed? I mean, were you guys in that house before your sister was born?
Very, very shortly before she was born.
So neither one of you had the bedroom upstairs at any point?
I don't.
Why didn't she have to go to the basement?
Well,
why couldn't you guys share the upstairs bedroom and put her in the dungeon?
She would have been a baby, and that room is right next to my parents' room. So
she didn't even have to have a room right away when she's a baby. She could have been in a crib in your parents' room.
I mean, I don't know. There could have been a point where one of us had that room.
We need to figure this out.
That would involve things I don't want to do, but there could have been a point where one of us had that.
You called my mom. Maybe I'll call yours.
Yeah, maybe. There could have. She didn't call back, by the way.
Yeah, well, she probably, like I said, you didn't leave a name or a number, so she would have saw the number, but you didn't leave your name, so she probably has no idea who this crazy person that said she has a yarden. Because her yard is mostly a garden.
Right, everyone. I was told that she has a garden which encompasses almost the entire backyard. So I came up with the term yarden, and Matt is opposed to it.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Anyway, so I called and left a voicemail for Matt's parents.
Yeah, without leaving your name or number.
Yeah, specifically
just
not leaving my name or number.
Just literally saying what he just told you guys.
Yeah.
No explanation.
But there could have been a point where one of us had the upstairs bedroom and one of us had the basement bedroom. But I would only imagine that they'd be like, well, we're buying this house because I believe we moved into the house on April 1st, 1985. And my sister was...
Joke's on you. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. And my sister was born May 5th of that same year. So a month later, there's a baby. So I imagine they're like, this is going to be the baby's room. You guys share this bedroom.
I mean, let's be honest. To this day, there's still a baby.
Correct. By most people's definition, he doesn't meet the age criteria of a baby, but he still lives there.
Oh, I was referring to your sister, but yeah, your brother.
Oh. I thought you were talking about him because he still lives there.
No, that's funny.
But he didn't move into the upstairs room.
Yeah, because that way he's got the full control of the basement to himself.
It's like it's his own place.
Yeah, it's almost like he lives on his own, but he still has to go upstairs to be fed and use the bathroom.
Meanwhile, I'm living in a basement right now.
A small basement. As described in your news.
Yeah.
Small basement with large surroundings.
So anyway, once I got to a certain age, I didn't want to share a room with my brother anymore. So I had two options.
Surprising it took you that long.
Oh, yeah.
A certain age.
It took me to a certain age.
Yeah, I can't believe it took that long.
Oh, I should have done it before that. An uncertain age. I reached an uncertain age, and I decided to move out.
To the other side of the wall.
When you go to when you go into the laundry room, which anyway, you go to the laundry room, to the left of that there's just this like area which wasn't walled off or anything, and it just was full of junk. It was just a big storage area. But if you go to the other side of the wall on the right of the laundry room, you're in this other just sort of, it was essentially the utility room because it had the water heater and the furnace.
It was a bigger space.
The furnace was in the laundry room, but this bigger area had the water heater and I think a water softener, and then there was also some rough plumbing if you wanted to put bathroom stuff in there, like a toilet and sink and stuff. Could have been put there if my dad ever did anything like that. So first I actually moved to where my room ended up being. Okay. Then I decided, well, this area is bigger. Yeah. So I moved everything. So I moved all the stuff that was being stored out of there into the other bigger room. Then I moved all my bedroom stuff into there. Yep. Then I decided I wanted to switch, so I switched everything around. And then for some reason, I don't remember why, I decided again I should switch over to where it was.
Maybe because all the equipment was on that side, so it just got more complicated to have all that junk in there.
I don't remember, but so ultimately I just sort of lived in the sort of storage area that was next to the washer and dryer, and the furnace.
But you had some nice sheets up to
eventually
act as a wall.
Yeah, I put up some Ghostbuster sheets to be a wall, and my floor was just concrete basement floor, and my two of my three actual walls were cinder block, and then the one wall was the standard wall separating my new room and my brother's room. Right. And so I put a rug down on the floor, and there were some cracks in the foundation. So in the winter, around the cracks, there would be frost build up on the wall. And at one point I had that window issue. So it wasn't a legal bedroom because I didn't have an egress window. Yeah.
But you could fit through it.
I could fit through it. I had a storm window, and
such one of my favorite stories.
So it would not be unusual for me to come home from school on the bus, and I'd be the only one. Like, let's say my brother had something to do, or my sister had something to do. I'd come home. My parents weren't home from work yet or something, but most of the time our doors were unlocked. The house door was unlocked. But on rare, weird occasions, my mom would just decide we need to lock the door. So needless to say, I was just used to never having to think about carrying a house key because the door was always just open, either because someone was home or no one locked the door. The house is kind of in the middle of nowhere, and so it's not like it's there's a big worry.
I mean, if you were gonna go rob that house, you would be deliberately going to rob that house. Yes, you would be like, I'm going to rob this very specific house.
Right. So I came home from school, and the door was locked. I didn't have a key, and nobody else was home. So I know that obviously you can remove a storm window. Mm-hmm. But I was having trouble removing the storm window to get into my room. So I forget if I ended up kicking it in.
I think you did.
I think I kicked it in. So of a two section storm window, one of the sections is now busted in, and there's glass all over the floor. So I was able to slither through.
The other funny part before you go on with that is that your storm window too was at the part of the house that was facing the street. So if anybody ever would have ended up coming down there, you would have just looked like you were breaking into this house. Yeah. Which, I mean, you were breaking into the house, but
the only way that you would have been able to see it is if you were actually coming down the driveway.
Right. Really? Yeah. Not from the street, but
No. So I climb into my room, and I'm like, okay, I'm finally in the house, but now I got to clean up this glass. And so first you sort of sweep up, first you get a bag, and you carefully pick up the larger pieces by hand. And then this would have been easier to clean up if I didn't have the rug down, if it was just the concrete floor. Yeah. But I wanted my feet to not be icicles all the time. So then you sort of try to sweep up any sort of smaller pieces that you don't want to pick up with your hands, but you carefully try to collect that up as much as you can. And then the last step would have been to vacuum up any tiny pieces so that you don't accidentally step on a piece of glass barefoot. So this was probably, I would say, at least an hour after I had gotten home from school, and I'm finally cleaning up this mess, and I can just sort of sit down and relax. But I'm vacuuming off the last little bits of glass, and then my TV stand had a set of shelves in the middle on the bottom to put, your VHS, your VCR, and your whatever else you had, like a Sega or something. And it had one of those plexiglass doors to...
It wasn't plexiglass. It was tempered glass.
Or tempered glass, I'm sorry. a tempered glass door that would shut with a magnet or whatever. And I was vacuuming, and somehow the door, like, I was just about to be done vacuuming, and somehow the door, like, swung back open, and the vacuum just barely touched this thing. And usually, if you knock into some glass, it would crack, and there would be some kind of, it would break, but there'd be varying size, like large, huge pieces or little tiny pieces. This was like a splash of water hit my floor. It was nothing but super tiny. They seemed like to all be the exact same size. Yep. It was just us. I turned the glass into water, and it just splashed down onto the floor. And I was like, "Oh, now I got to pick up all this glass." And this was not there were no big easy chunks to pick up and take care of the good amount of the mess. So I don't remember. I feel
like that in the end would have been slightly easier to clean up because you could scoop up chunks of it, like scoop up big piles of it at a time.
And I don't remember exactly what I did for that. I'm sure I brushed a bunch of it into a dustpan first and then vacuumed up the rest.
But still, just the idea of like, I'm finally done cleaning up all this glass.
Yeah.
But now I have to clean up all this glass. But yeah, that's what tempered glass does. And it just shatters.
What do good parents do that allow their children to have a bedroom that doesn't have a legal egress window in case of a fire? If one of the windows breaks, you replace the window, right?
Yeah.
With glass, right?
You'd think.
You replace the window with window, right?
Yeah.
No, but this room that didn't have a carpet or heat or and the walls would frost in the winter, and now we've got half of a window broken. Let's replace it with pizza box.
Okay, I remember it was cardboard. I forgot it was pizza box.
Yep. So
was it like pizza remnants on the outside?
Oh,
to attract animals?
No, oh my gosh.
Was it just at night you just hear scratching?
That would have been awesome. But no. But it was double pane. It was double pane with that.
Oh, double pane cardboard?
Side. Yeah, double pane cardboard. And I'm still alive.
Yeah, you survived living in that house.
Eventually, once my uncle came to stay with us, he sort of got my dad to actually build a fourth wall and put a door.
Yeah, then eventually you got walls and a door.
And I think when the window breaking happened, I had the door. I had a wall and a door.
Yeah, I think at that point you did, yeah.
But yeah, so eventually...
it was a big moment when you finally got that wall.
It was a big moment when I got the wall. And
it actually finally felt like a room.
Yeah.
I recall now, too, like, that was not a large space.
No.
It was like 10 by 11. It was a small room.
Yeah, right. It was just a square or a little rectangle. Yeah. Not a large
just
space.
Just a square little rectangle.
But all I had... Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway... yeah, but all I had really, I had a corner shelf with some crap on it. I had a TV stand with a TV and crap in it, and I had a futon.
And whatever you had
I had a mini fridge too.
Yeah. Me and you decided we needed mini fridges, and we went.
Well, I decided I needed a mini fridge because when I would buy food for lunches to take to my job and left them with all the rest of the food in the kitchen,
they would disappear.
Some of it would be eaten by other people.
Yeah.
Even though I actually have a job and am buying my own food to feed myself at said job, other people that didn't have a job and just didn't want to earn money wanted to just eat the food I was buying for myself.
What was your closet? Was your closet was it just a thing with a pole on it, or was it sort of enclosed, or did you have like a?
So
when you had clothes hanging up in like the back corner, right? The back right corner.
When you walk
in, I thought they were the far back right.
So
or left.
Are you talking when the door was put up and when the wall and the door were there?
Oh yeah, because then it was up front, wasn't it?
So when the room was first put together, when it was just sheets, nailed to some of the joists, were just two 2x4s hanging down. So if you walk in, it's to your right at the far corner.
Yeah. That's where I was recalling it,
and we just put the little plastic holders for a closet rod. Or pole or whatever, and that hung my clothes, which would sometimes just sort of
fall off,
and all my clothes that were hanging would just fall on the floor. But then when the door,
glass would get everywhere.
Yeah, all my glass shirts broke. But then when the door was put up, if you go in the room through the doorway, immediately you have to go left and like look back.
Yeah, there was a little.
It was a
closet,
little
like a built-in. Yeah,
yeah. But that just had one of those sort of wheeled like clothes hanger things, like a closet organizer type of a thing.
Right, but at least it was. Yeah, it was.
It at least was inset. It was
inset, so it actually because where your wall went was basically where the sheets had originally been hanging, right?
Yeah.
So by doing that, then you actually ended up gaining more space, which was kind of nice.
Which, I mean, it was great.
For the fact that it was such a small area. But yeah, because I won't go into too much crazy detail, but I originally kind of had a room.
Yeah. You can go into all the detail you want.
Yeah. So the way my parents' upstairs is set up now is not at all how so when you first started coming around, the upstairs was, I think, I'm trying to remember if it was the way it is now or the way it used to be.
There are differences.
So it's changed a lot over the years. I think it had been remodeled before you ever had come around.
Possibly.
So you might not have ever seen how it originally kind of was. But at the top of the stairs, originally there was that little kind of landing area that's still kind of there. And then there was a door in like the middle of that. And then directly where there's still a door now to go into like the main big upstairs part.
Yeah.
That was a door to a room, a bedroom.
Yeah.
And then, so there was basically 2 bedrooms. And then on the front side of the house, my dad had a loft.
I remember the loft.
So it was split. Basically the house was split straight in half the long way. And then about a third way across. So the front half was 1/3, and then the back half was 2 bedrooms and a landing at the top of the stairs. So originally, I had my own room by itself, and then my sister shared the bigger room on the other side. However, the rooms were connected. So if I go into my room, on the back left side of the room was an opening that was connected into the other room that just had like a half wall.
Okay.
Which wasn't even an actual wall. It was just plywood that separated the 2 bedrooms.
I feel like I remember plywood.
And maybe you might. So you may have had come around at one point before all that got remodeled. And then, but my room never had a door on it. It had a doorway, but never had an actual door.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if my sister's room had a door or not. I think their room might have actually had a door. But then that got all remodeled. So when that all got remodeled, my sisters both got new bedrooms. And I was supposed to get a bedroom, but we were going to break out the back wall of the house and go over a section of downstairs that was a roofed off area. We were going to build on top of that and make that 2 stories there. And that was going to be my room. That still hasn't happened. So that's been 25, 28 years in the making, whatever, somewhere in there.
The need isn't there anymore.
No. So then the other whole half of the house was going to be like a new living room area. So for a long time, or for some part of the time, my bedroom was at the top of the stairs in that little cramped ass area. And then eventually I moved over to the living room side, had kind of blocked myself off a section using some bookshelves and like curtains. And then that was like in the main area. And then eventually I moved down to the front part of the house and blocked off a chunk with some bookshelves and made that my bedroom. So I literally have almost never also had a bedroom up until I moved out of the house. Well, no, I should. Once my oldest sister moved out, then I ended up eventually moving into her bedroom. Okay. But then not too long after that, I ended up moving out to an apartment, and then as you sometimes do, you move back home for a little while. And
wasn't it like going to an apartment was like extreme luxury? By comparison,
God,
like having central air and a lot of hot water and
hot water. Yeah, for whatever reason, hot water was almost never a problem at my house.
That's weird because there's 1 bathroom, right? At your house,
it was 1 bathroom, but
3 kids.
Yep,
right.
3 kids, 2 adults, 1 bathroom.
We were 1 bathroom with 2 adults and 3 kids.
Yeah,
I guess hot water wasn't. I mean, there were definitely times where the hot water would run out in the middle of a shower.
Yeah, I think it occasionally would happen, but
your bathroom was awesome.
No, the bathroom in my house for many, many years was terrible because it was the basement.
It was the basement.
The toilet, the tub, the shower, everything was in the basement. Not in a bathroom in the basement, but the basement, just in the basement.
Various parts of the basement.
The shower was just in the center of the basement because that's where the drain was.
Yeah.
So I think it was all originally set up as like, okay, we're going to temporarily set up down here so we have a place to use a bathroom while we continue to do construction on the main floor and the upstairs. And it just never happened. Like, I mean, there was never, for a long time, never even a thought of putting a bathroom on the main level of my house.
Right.
And then it just never happened for years. And then finally, like, we were all in high school.
It's because the way the bathroom was. Like, we don't have room for that size of an area in the main level. Your basement, your bathroom took up too much space.
We had such a huge bathroom.
Your bathroom was huge.
It was gigantic.
You didn't have a bedroom, but
it
your
also had a lot of
was...
stuff stored in it.
Yeah.
The laundry room, just a bunch of junk. But yeah, I think it wasn't until late junior high or early high school, senior high, early high school famous, that we finally put a bathroom on the main floor of the house. It was, once that happened, it was just like, oh my God, we're so like, what are we, the Rockefellers? Bathrooms on the main level?
I don't even know if I've seen that.
My parents' house?
Bathroom on the main level? The main level bathroom.
At my parents' house? You definitely have.
Have I?
You've spent plenty of time at my parents' house since that bathroom's been there.
I don't remember. I only remember the basement
as soon as you walked into the house and you'd look, be like, oh yeah.
Okay.
You've used that bathroom.
I probably have.
Many a time. Like too many times.
I think. Because I didn't want to.
Like I had to tell you to stop.
I didn't want to. Well, it's just like, I didn't really want to hang out with you or anyone there.
You just wanted to.
I just wanted to not be home. So I went to your house, but then I didn't want to hang out with any of you guys either. So I just acted like I had to go to the bathroom a lot.
Because you know what my parents' kitchen looks like now with the rooster on the countertop and stuff. Yeah, that all happened at the same time.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, the bathroom and the remodel of the kitchen and everything all happened at the same time.
Now I want to say, and the system for letting, if you had to go to the bathroom, you had to open the door to the stairs and turn the lights on or off.
Yeah, if the light was on, you'd have to flicker the light to see if anybody was down there.
Yeah, and then they'd say, "I'm down here."
Yeah,
or
somebody
whatever.
would yell if they were using the bathroom or not.
And I think I'm sure there was at least one time, but only a very small amount of times that I think
where
I
you
used
didn't
the shower.
Tell them that you were down there,
where I was already hiding down there.
Yeah.
No, I didn't let them know I was down there. I wanted them to come down and find me. So anyway.
Discover me while I was discovering myself.
Discover me while I was discovering myself. But
showering.
And then I was pleased or disappointed depending on who it was that came down.
Yeah.
And
how much of you they discovered.
And how much of me was discovered.
But yeah, showering was.
But I don't remember. I know I had showered there at least once, but if I only a handful of times tops, I bet that I used that shower, which was just a circular bar.
It was a regular.
Holding a shower curtain that completely wrapped all the way around you and went to the floor.
So there was still privacy.
Yeah.
So I mean, people could come down. Like, if you were showering, somebody could still come down and use the bathroom if they absolutely needed to, and just promise not to play peekaboo.
Yeah, and then or the person in the shower wouldn't be like,
"Yeah,
hey, I'm done. I'm coming out now without warning." And then someone could go down and do if someone was showering, you could go down and throw a little laundry in if you had to or something. Which I never did laundry at your house, I don't think.
No, probably not. Well, because the laundry machine, laundry used to be back behind where the shower was too, but now it's all in front of where the shower was and stuff. That's all been moved around so many times.
It's all different.
Yeah, so we both had very interesting housing situations growing up.
Yeah.
So
moving to an apartment.
Lower middle class families or middle class families.
Moving to my first apartment, having a bed. Well, I mean, I technically had a bedroom, but having in my parents' house by the time I moved out, but having a bedroom with full windows and an actual closet you can close, and I had my own bathroom. I had a separate bathroom that was just mine in the apartment, and having central air and
I had a bathroom that was accessible through my bedroom. My bedroom went into a giant fucking walk-in closet into the bathroom. It was a shared bathroom, but I had access from my room to it too. It was just
I didn't have a walk-in closet in that apartment, but I did have a closet. I had a walk-in.
Had a walk-in
I had a
bedroom.
walk-in closet. Yeah. I had a walk-in bathroom. I had a walk-in shower. What?
I had a walk-in Christopher.
Oh, nice. Nice.
I was like Borat doing a Christopher Walken impression. Or vice versa.
Or yeah. I doubt Christopher Walken has ever done a Borat impression. He's above that.
Yeah.
We'll ask Borat.
We'll ask either one of them. Borat would know if he's done it or not.
You would know? You've got what?
I just said we'll ask either one of them, and I said, yeah, Borat will know if Christopher Walken did an impression.
I thought you said, or I would know.
Like, no, I would.
I know every impression every other celebrity has ever done of every other celebrity.
I have gone down some crazy YouTube rabbit holes.
Do rabbits dig the deepest holes? Or can we use another animal?
I mean, rabbits don't really live in holes, do they?
No,
rabbits don't live underground.
This is from Alice in Wonderland. That's why people say that, because
she goes down a rabbit hole.
She goes into the white rabbit hole.
So all of that's all. Wow. So what's that based off of then?
Drugs.
Yeah, I have to call
the drugs that
I have to call Lewis Carroll.
Lewis Carroll was on when he wrote that thing.
Because I don't think rabbits typically dig and live in holes.
I don't think. Well,
I mean, they make dens, right? A rabbit den.
That's probably it's like.
Which it's more like a small cave.
Yeah, but it's like kind of like you crawl into it if you're a person.
I suppose is it like would it be like a little? I guess it might be a little hole under the ground. Like they would go, but they kind of hollow out a chunk.
Yeah.
So it's not like a bunch of tunnels.
No,
it's not like an anthill.
They don't have a tunnel system.
A rabbit hill.
But I mean, there's got to be another animal that lives deeper down that you could say, going
mole.
down the mole hole.
Man, I've gone down some crazy mole holes.
I went on YouTube and ran down a crazy mole hole.
I mean, it would logically make more sense.
I mean, they already say wormhole, but that's something else. You can't use worm.
That would almost work better.
Yeah.
Ant hole.
Yeah.
No such thing as an ant hole.
And they already say you open a can of worms.
Right.
So we're not trying
you can also
to change
open
that.
up a can of beans.
You could open up a can of rabbits.
There's no such thing as a can of rabbits. I don't know. I mean,
bye.
Yeah. Are we done? I thought I was going to go somewhere else for a minute with something. I thought I had something in my head for a second.
Figure it out.
And then
get it back in.
I lost it. So
bye.
If you like us, we're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as HSFamousPod. Email us at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. If you really love us, consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/highschoolfamous. Remember, we love you and want to have your babies.